Hello again, nerds. So I had intended on recording this week's news episode tonight, which we're going to do. It's going to be, as I bump everything, it's going to be a very different week again this week. We're probably just gonna stick with the live recording situation, but that's neither here nor there. We have a new Everlast song that we are reacting to. We're going to do a couple reactions this week and hopefully continue the reaction train for a little while. That being said, this is normally where the intro would go, but I still haven't reworked that yet either. It's amazing what you don't get accomplished when your life flips upside down. So, that being said, we're just going to get to the bona fides here real quick. I feel like I might have this microphone a little too hot. Let's pull that back just a bit. All right. So, bona fides. Who the hell am I and why do you care? You don't care. It's fine. You're here to make fun of me and or agree with me. And nothing I do or say is going to change that. But I will tell you that, I do know what the hell I'm talking about when it comes to this kind of stuff. In that, I went to school for audio production, so I have an education in the field. I have been actively recording myself and other people professionally for approximately 15 or more years. I think we're closer actually to 20 these days. Um, I have been playing professionally in a band for about 25 to 30 years. I've been doing music since I was a very small boy. And so this is just a thing that I enjoy talking about. I enjoy trying to articulate things so that people can either sharpen their responses against my opinion or use my opinion to help sharpen their responses in alliance with it. So that is the goal of this video series of the reaction videos. I do want to help contribute to the conversation, if in some small way. So all of that being said, we have a couple of things that we like to do here on the channel when we do a reaction video. The first of which is, if I can find my button. Uh-oh. Where is my button? There we go. First of which is history. I don't think we've done an Everlast reaction. So generally speaking, when we do this, the first time we react to an artist on the channel is the time where I give you my history with the artist or with the band or whomever. So my history with Everlast, obviously I've been around since the House of Pain was a thing. So I know House of Pain. That's actually how I know who Everlast even is. A little bit more specifically though, because I was a fairly young guy when House of Pain was actively on the radio. More appropriately, I know who Everlast is in accordance with DJ Lethal. When I got really into music, it was about 98, 99 when I first heard Limp Bizkit, got a little bit crazy about I got really into the fandom for that band, and then learned, the dude who did the Jump Around song, that was actually a group, and that group also included DJ Lethal and Everlast, and so now I know who that is. And then Whitey Ford Sings the Blues came out, and it was kind of downhill from there. So that is kind of my history with the artist. I think something that is super awesome to note about Everlast, I heard him on, I believe it was Joe Rogan, but it might have been Loveline. Honestly, it could be either. It was so long ago, I don't remember. That's when they say I lost my only friend. All right, sorry, it's not a Wallflower moment. Anyway, it was either Joe Rogan or Loveline, but either way, it doesn't necessarily matter which it was, because he is one of the artists who kind of informed me, not necessarily that he told me directly, but informed me about certain things about the industry and behind the scenes in the industry. Not the least of which is owning your own masters. Everlast owns his own masters, which means he makes all of the money off of the performance of his music. So the record label, I'm sure there are some contracts that he still is a part of where the record label gets some of the money, but he gets the lion's share of the money when it comes to the digital reproduction, or when you listen to it on the radio when they have to pay for the rights and so on and so forth. He gets that money, man. So and he talked about it openly on whichever show it was that I heard him do it, and kind of broke down, because it was one of the first times where we started to actively hear about artists not getting paid on Spotify accordingly. And Everlast said, I make a pretty good living on Spotify. It's because I own my own masters, and they can't short me my money. So anyway, we've had that conversation a number of times on the channel. We're not going to get into that anymore here, even though I'm already rambling. So somebody's already typing in the comment section, man, just shut up and get to the video. I hear your keyboard clicking and clacking. So that being said, let's talk about, we do have another segment here, and that is the expectations for what we are about to witness. Is this going to be another, as Eminem put it, country western rap record? Even though I don't think that's exactly how I would classify the Whitey Ford record, but I mean, it was funny at the time. Um, yes, I'm not going to bury the lead on this one. I absolutely expect this to be a country western rap record. I expect this to be more of what Everlast knows is going to sell. Ever since he did the Whitey Ford thing, he's kind of been doing that since that record came out, and it's what the people expect, and he's not one to not give the people what they expect. This is not a video, so we're not going to be analyzing the quality of it. I'm pretty sure it's a lyric video. Actually, let me double check, because I might be misremembering that. That is the wrong window. It is, yeah, it's a lyric video. So I expect this to be a lot of AI generated images, but that's neither here nor there, because it's a lyric video. Basically, it's an excuse to listen to the song. The reason I chose this is because I was honestly just scrolling through my suggested feed on YouTube, and this was posted about an hour ago. So this is going to be one of the freshest reactions we have ever done, because I don't know that a lot of people out there are listening to it right now, because it literally just dropped. So that was kind of a big thing. Anyway, expectations. I expect this to be kind of Whitey Ford. What record is this that he's released now? Is this like the third record that's come out since that Whitey Ford record? Maybe it's this. I don't know. I don't know, but it's going to be Whitey Ford version 2.0 or X.0, depending on whatever record release he's on. I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, as long as he's still growing as an artist. And I don't know if that's where we're at with Everlast, but I'm definitely here to find out. So that's our expectations. We will have one more proper segment at the end of this video where we talk about final thoughts and do I recommend this for X group or B group or whatever. So all of that being said, I will stop rambling now, I promise, and we're going to get into excuse me, the actual dang video. I think something might not be lined up properly, but we will find out in a moment. So here we go with Everlast. Oh, the name of the song. Let's do that as well. The name of the song is Stones. So yeah, Stones.
Broke a promise to myself, leave that bottle on the shelf. Then I went and took it down, and now I'm wasted. Hear you crying through the wall, almost see those teardrops fall. That goodbye ain't left your lips, but I can taste it.
So good old Whitey Ford is, I don't know if he's playing up the gravel or his voice is just really gone a little crazy since the last time I actively participated in any sort of listening experience that involved Everlast. Very interesting. I would venture it's probably a combination of the two things. It's probably a little bit of it's started to go scratchier than it was whenever that record came out 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So it started getting scratchier from age and abuse, and so now he's leaning into it, probably in a similar fashion as Tom Waits. And at a certain point, it becomes a snake eating his tail because, like, the more you lean into it, the more it happens naturally, and the more you have to do it, and et cetera, et cetera. So that's interesting. But, yeah, I definitely called the nature of this song. This feels like it could be YE4 2.0. I feel like, again, that's not inherently a bad thing, and the messaging is solid so far in the lyrics. This is a song about slipping up with addiction and, people giving you tough love over said addiction and said slip up, which, I can definitely relate to in my personal life, and I would imagine plenty of other people can as well. So, yeah, that's all I'm gonna ramble right now. Let's get back to it.
You say you're through with us. Baby, that makes two of us. There ain't nothing you can say. There ain't nothing you can do. God knows I know you're sick of me. Well, I'm sick of me too. Take a shot, but it won't hurt. Worse than what I've done to you. Ain't a stone that you can throw at me. I ain't already through.
That's a really interesting play on a very old idiom. Uh, there's nothing you can't do to me that I haven't already done to myself, or there's nothing you can do to me that I haven't already done to myself. Is the idiom, right? That's the saying that we've heard for years and years for, when people realize that they're messing up and are trying to do something about it. They've already, kicked themselves a million times, and so now they're turning around and trying to do something about it, and people just won't let them forget that they have fallen. Again, something definitely I can relate to in my personal life. This is, as much as I identify with the messaging of this song right now, I feel like it's still a little trite. It's still a little ham-fisted, but I align with the sentiment. So I don't know. I'm really torn about how I feel about this right now.
I ain't already through. Wish you would, but no, you won't. Try to cut me to the bone. Not saying anything might be the death of me. I do the dirty work myself till my own heart go to hell. All you gotta do is pull me out of your misery. There ain't nothing you can say. There ain't nothing you can do. God knows I know you're sick of me. Well, I'm sick of me too. Take a shot, but it won't hurt. Worse than what I've done to you. Ain't a stone.
Let's analyze this vocal performance, since that's really all that we're getting out of this. Like, yeah, I could probably pick up the acoustic that's sitting right here next to me, and we can try and figure out keys, and we can try and figure out the chords, and it's irrelevant in a performance like this. The performance here, the thing that is striking the chord is the vocal. So, I mean, should we pull up? I think we might should. I think we might should. Let me see if I can find it. Pull up what it's like, and we can compare his vocal performance from that song. Let's go here. To this vocal performance and see how he's evolved as a performer, because like I said, I feel like at least part of this is leaning into an affectation of that gravelly voice. He's making it worse. So we're gonna search for this Everlast, what it's like. We are going to compare the vocal performance from his biggest hit, Everlast's biggest hit, with this current performance that we are listening to. Pardon me while I correct some things. I don't know what the heck just happened to my OBS, but apparently I just can't record even one video without some sort of technical issue. Anyway, so let's listen because we're in the middle of the new song. So let's listen to some vocals from this old song. As it skips around and whatever, we still have the audio. So that's where he started. We've all seen the man at the liquor store begging for your change. He's coming out very much. I mean, he's probably pushing because I would venture that Everlast has not had proper vocal coaching, but he's definitely pushing with his lungs. I doubt he's using much diaphragmatic support. It's coming through his throat fairly harshly, I guess is a fair way to put that. So let's go back to this one. We're going to go back a little bit, just a little bit.
Take a shot, but it won't hurt.
So I can see the evolution here because we've all seen the man. I can't even do it. I can't even do the poor technique because I'm afraid I'm going to hurt myself, which is kind of where Everlast is with it, right? So yeah, that's going to hurt. Especially if it's an affectation. If he's affecting this voice, if he is putting this on for the tone, then he's really hurting himself. But
Worse than what
I've done to you
ain't a stone that you can throw at me.
that I ain't already through. I ain't already through. Yeah, that's really, he's pushing from here to, if that is an affectation, it's not just the way his voice sounds right now. He's really, really pushing from here. At least that's the only way I can reproduce that sound is yeah. Like you're really constricting those vocal flaps or vocal folds. You're really like squeezing them tight and then forcing air through them. That's not super healthy. So, I mean, I'm definitely not the be all end all of vocal performance, but that sounds painful.
Don't think that I won't take the blame.
See, so that is different. That sounds a little more diaphragmatic in its support. It sounds a little bit more like he's hey, and he's just naturally got. See, this doesn't hurt. This that I'm doing right now with my voice, hey. This is sitting back behind the vocal folds. At least in my brain, that's where it's sitting. So I'm not getting that same kind of buzz that's on the folds, which over an extended period of time is going to hurt them and going to cause issue. But if you're just down here naturally, then it's probably a little bit better. If it's so, there's definitely an element of affectation here. I don't know what the hell's going on. There we go.
Aiming at the same damn thing.
See, you can even hear that. It's an even better example of something more akin to his proper sing. The same damn thing. Like that sounds a lot more comfortable. I wish he had done the whole thing there, but I mean, you do what you do. Everybody's just trying to be real, right? And trying to be real, whatever.
There ain't nothing you can say. There ain't nothing you can do. God knows I know you're sick of me. Well, sick of me too. Take a shot, but it won't hurt.
I don't know what's going on.
throwing me. I ain't already through. Don't think that I won't take the blame. We're aiming at.
Listen to the layering right here too, as we're getting into this outro verse, as it were. We've got some instrumentation. We've also got a whole bunch of like choral vocals in the background. So this is really interesting. I think it might just be Everlast's voice a couple of times and probably some verb on it, but or a chorus rather. But we're gonna go back and we're gonna listen to that a little bit.
Don't think that I won't take the blame. We're aiming at the same damn thing.
That's super interesting. I like the mix on this. I always think that pop mixes are not they don't feature the strings enough. Just because that's just the way pop music is. Pop music is vocal performance, and that means you get a lot of drums so that everybody stays in time. Um, Whereas generally the music that I mix, excuse me, that I need another drink. Generally, the music that I mix, the focus is the strings. So the strings sit a little bit more prominently in, well, one of the many focuses, I guess, is the strings. So they sit a little bit more prominently in the mix. Um, but it makes it, when you get to layers like this, it makes that subtlety kind of a little more unexpected and effective, I think.
Hey, there ain't nothing you can do. God knows I know you're sick of me. Well, sick of me. Take a shot, but it won't hurt. Worse than what I've done to you. Ain't a stone that you can throw at me. I ain't already through. I ain't already through.
That is not his voice that has been duplicated and chorused. And there's definitely a chorus on there because you can hear the panning on the chorus effect. It sounds like there's probably about 3 actual recorded performances at any one given time on that choral. And it's really interesting because like it starts out almost like it might be a synth. So I kind of think maybe they might have done a synth line and mapped a vocal performance over it. Like they had a vocal like a MIDI recorded vocal that they can trigger with the keyboard that allows them to play. That's really interesting. That's really, really interesting. All right, cool.
Don't think that I won't take the blame. We're aiming at the same damn thing.
All right. So, Stones from Everlast. No, let's not do that. I mean, I do love Tom Waits, but oh goodness, geez. Shush. All right. So we're going to go back to the fancy cam and we're going to talk about some final thoughts. Where's the button for it? Right there. Final thoughts, the verdict, as it were. This is kind of what I was expecting. This is in the same vein as what it's like, in that it's largely acoustic, like the guitars in here. There is an electric guitar somewhere in that mix that's there for color. It's mostly acoustic. It's definitely a very, very large portion of the sound is that drum set and his voice. So yeah, this could live at home on that Whitey Ford record. Fairly expected. The unexpected part of this was the vocal performance. It's really interesting that he has chosen, and again, maybe the natural rasp that is in his voice is just translating a little better because of his lack of proper vocal technique. But I feel like there is at least an element of him just playing this up, the gravel when he's in his singing. So very interesting performance. Who do I recommend this for? Do I recommend this at all? Yeah, I would say if you like this kind of radio rock stuff, you're probably gonna like this a lot. There's really not much else to say. That if you haven't liked any of Everlast solo work, then this is going to be in that same vein. So you're gonna have the same opinion of it. So is this going to win him any new listeners? Probably not. Is this going to be something that you hear on terrestrial radio, where the music is much more safe? Yeah, I would venture that this is going to get played on active rock stations or modern rock stations or whatever you want to call it these days. But again, I don't necessarily think this is going to win over any new audience, which is a little unfortunate considering like it's very well intended. I hit the microphone and I apologize. It's very well intended messaging and it's very pertinent messaging to a certain degree as well. So I just think that's it's not a bad time there. So that's what we got. I know it's a short one for the channel. Usually we get much more into the musical theory of things or like the actual production of the video, the actual production of the record, which this is a really basic setup. There's not a whole lot of microphone technique that needs to be talked about with this. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So what did you think? What did you think of Stones from Everlast? Is there something that you heard in the mix that I didn't? Let's have that conversation down in the comment section. Is there something about his vocal performance that you feel like I was off base with? Then please, by all means, let's have that conversation. Though that's going to be where we have to end this reaction video. So thank you very much, nerds, for joining me. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, share, do all the things. Check out the clips channel. We're going to start getting those clips up from last week very, very soon. And yeah, that's it. Before we go, always remember that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.